'Cause we don't know the hour or the day. Time is such a gift, try and control your destiny. We don't know the hour or the day. Unity is strength, let's stand as one without delay. 'Cause no bad vibe, me a chant. Me no wanna bad vibe, me a chant. I just peace the times all around, yeah. No bad vibe, me a chant. No bad vibe, me a chant. Say me no want no bad vibe, me a chant. I just peace good time all around, yeah. No bad vibe, me a chant.
Hey everybody, how you guys doing again? ABM Superhero here with another episode of Death Taught Us How to Live. I thank you guys so much for being with me all year long. We started off in May and we are still going, and I have a lot more to show you guys. And tonight is no different. But before we get started, as someone remind me, I forgot to put on my diffusers for most of the season. So I got my waterless diffuser, and tonight's remedy is going to be sweet tobacco. So if you see the smoke, it's not smoke, it's water vapor or oil vapor, waterless diffuser. But anyhow, tonight is a special guest that I have. She's a stroke survivor, a young lady. I'm very interested about her story. I've been trying to get her for a long time, and our wires have been disconnected. But today we are connected, and I'm so happy to bring her onto the show. So please, everybody, please welcome my friend. Her name is Tiffany Alston, a stroke survivor and a person that's going to be our guest for tonight's show. Tiffany, how you doing, sister?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am well. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Welcome. I'm
You look
excited.
so lovely, girl. You look so lovely.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
love your hair, sister. I love your hair. Um, can you take us back to that unfaithful day that happened when you had your stroke, and tell the audience who you are and what happened to you?
Okay, so my name sorry. So my name is Tiffany Austin. And before I had my stroke, I was working at the Federal Reserve and doing my own thing. And then um what happened is on May 27th, 2021, my life changed. Like literally, I was in the bed and my two dogs, Carter and Carly, they wanted to go outside. And I passed out like in my living room, or not even in my living room, in my hallway. And I knew like it was going to be somebody that was going to have a stroke, like literally, but I didn't know it was me. And I don't know, just my intuition. Um, and I would try to get up, but I did not know that my right side was paralyzed, um, which is hard. And it was only me and my two dogs, so I couldn't call anybody because I don't know where my phone was. And so I would try to get up again and pass out. Uh, and my sisters, they told me that my job, so I used to work at the Federal Reserve of Richmond, and I put in our emergency contacts. And my emergency contact was my mom and my sister. And they knew, so we had a meeting at 8. I wasn't there, and they knew that I would be on time, actually early. And they called me. I didn't know because I was passed out. They called my mom. She wasn't at her desk, and they called my sister. And sorry, um, and my sister was like, "I'm gonna call her, and if she doesn't answer, I'm gonna go over there." My my boss, he was in another state, so he couldn't come over to my house. Um, and so my sisters, Kenya and Tisha, they came over my house. I don't know that. I just knew that I had a stroke, but some of the details I don't know. They told me about this. And so they looked in my garage. They couldn't find the key, so they called the police. The police was like, "We can't kick in their door," but they could hear my dogs. And they were like, but we can tell you how to kick in the door. And my sister Tisha kicked in the door, and they said I was in the living room, so I was in the hallway, and then I came into the living room, just trying to get up, and everything like that. They said I was in the living room, and I wasn't talking. It was like baby talking. I remember I was in the ambulance, but I don't remember the hospital at all. I remember them telling me that I had a stroke, and I was just like, hold on. Let me just back up. So my sister and my mom, it was COVID, so only actually one person could come in um, my hospital room, but they said, okay, we'll take two. And they told my sister and my mom that I was going to wake up not that evening, but the following evening. And I woke up that evening. That's a miracle, I tell you. I was like, nothing but God. Um, and so they told me what happened. They said, you had a stroke. Your right side is paralyzed. Your speech is impacted. I couldn't talk at all. I can only say yes and no. That's it. Like that was just crazy. And I would say yes, but I meant no, and I would say no, and I meant yes. And so they were just like, well, we can maybe you can spell, what you want or whatever, but I couldn't spell because I have aphasia, which is a language disorder. It's not like just reading and spelling, all over again. Because in your mind, you know the words, it's just trying to say it and trying to spell it, which is hard. Um, and so, yeah, they told me that I had a stroke. They told me I had aphasia. They told me that my right side was paralyzed, and it was hard. It was really hard for me to, because I was doing it like, you know, working at job, doing the, just everything, vacations, going, just doing everything that I thought, even just, being volunteering at my church and ushering and everything like that. So it's just like, why, God, why? Like I was, doing stuff.
Okay, hold on, Tiffany. Don't give to the juicy part yet. Just want to know what happened that day. You gotta give up all the juicy part. You're not gonna give me anything to interview on,
Yeah.
sis.
So,
All right, all
yeah.
right, all right. Before we go any further, we have some people from Instagram because I want you guys to know that on Instagram and TikTok, I can't view the actual messages on this particular platform. But if you want your message to come on the screen, go to YouTube or Facebook. YouTube is AVM Superhero, one word. But I'm going to go to TikTok real quick. Not TikTok. I'm going to go to Instagram real quick and see what the messages on there so I can bring them over here so you guys can understand what is being said about you over there in Instagram world. So we have Brain Injury Babe. She says, so terrifying. I'm glad you survived. And we have Yolanda saying, Tiffany, you are so brave. Thank you for sharing your story. Brain Injury Babe is also saying, how long ago was your stroke? And then we have Brave Healing Warrior. Wow, you rock, Tiffany. So let's go with the question that was been asked. How long was your stroke?
It is 4 years and some change. Like, yep.
So
So,
Tiffany was saying earlier it was May, so it was like the beginning of COVID when
yep.
her stroke happened. So
Yeah. So let me just tell you.
go ahead.
So I had 2 vaccinations for COVID. The last one I had it on Thursday. 3 weeks later, I had my stroke on Thursday. My doctor was like, they didn't know like what happened. They were like, everything's good. She's working out. Her weight is up or low. They didn't know anything. Like even the doctors, they were like, we don't know. Like we did the tests and everything, and I think it was because of COVID, the vaccination. I'm pretty sure it was, because I was just like, like yeah, they said
Listen to my sound.
Okay, so you say and you swear up and down that it is
Mm-hmm.
actual COVID that
Yeah.
actually
Oh
gave
yeah.
you. Okay, okay. I'm gonna go with that. I heard that a couple of times. Other people have said that the vaccination really messed them up and they actually had their stroke based off of that. But we have some comments coming in, so let's bring these comments in and let's continue with our show. Roxanne is saying hi. I don't know if you know her or not, but
Hello.
she's saying hello. Quisha, she's saying hello as
Yeah, I
well.
know her. Hopefully, I know her. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Shannon is saying hi. So proud of you for sharing your story.
Oh, thank you.
All right. So you have said a lot, and I just want to make sure that we digest everything that you actually said, and people in the comments can ask questions based off of that. You and in the beginning, when you was actually stating your story, it seemed like you got very emotional about it. Did that come about after your stroke? You got very emotional about things,
Um,
or were you always
yeah,
that way?
I was always that way, but I think when I had my stroke, it was just like I swear I cried every day.
Rightfully so. I get it. And guys, I want you to understand that Tiffany has what's called aphasia. That is a difficulty with speech. So it's not that she's having problems finding the words because she knows the words, but she's just the motor skills is not coming out to actually do that. So whenever she's speaking, she's taking a long time to do her thoughts. I want you guys to be patient with her because this is a side effect of her stroke. She has what's called aphasia. Um, and also, she said she has right side. She had right side was paralyzed. Is it
Yeah.
still paralyzed now, or did it come out?
No, no, I can't do that. You know, and I can if you want me to talk about this, I can. So when I was in the hospital, I prayed to God and I said, "Can you help me?" Because it wasn't even like one thing or two things that was happening. It was four things, and He said He would. He said, but it was gonna be difficult and everything. And so I just trust him, literally, even though I was crying like maybe 2 or 3 times a day or whatever, but I trust him. And so when I was in the hospital for 3 weeks or whatever, even though they asked me not to walk, I would still walk without them. So the nurse would come in and say, "Do you have to go to the bathroom?" I would say no, and she'll leave, and then I would walk. My right hand paralyzed, so it's just one hand and everything because I was determined to be healed. It was slow and everything like that, but I was just determined to be healed. Now I can walk, run, skip. Um, my right side is not paralyzed. I can do, even though my hand is still recovering, so it's probably like 80, 90% healed. Even like my fingers and everything, it's like the little stuff. But yeah, I'm doing
You know,
good.
Tiffany, I get it, and you're making me go back to when I had my stroke because I did the same thing. I prayed to God. I said, God, I'm not ready to die yet. I got things to do with my children. He answered my prayers, and here I am today. So it seems like you are very
Nervous?
centered in,
Oh,
in your religion, in your faith.
oh yeah.
And so, with that being said, did this stroke strengthen your faith, or was your faith already strong already, and you just knew that it was going to help you get past this?
No, it's strengthened my faith. Like so when I had my stroke or whatever, I was like, why God? Why me? And he said, why not you? And I was like, hold on, why not me? He was like, you're going to tell people your testimony and that I healed you. I was like, okay, um, and then he was like, "You're also going to tell it on TikTok." I was like, "I don't have TikTok." He was like, "Well, you're going to uh, um, be a member and everything like that. So I have TikTok and everything, but my relationship with God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit is like we best friends, like literally, like we're best friends. Like I just call on him for any and everything, because like I said, it wasn't because everybody's like, oh, you did it, you're recovery, you look good and everything like that. I was like, it's nothing but God, like I do, the physical and he does the spiritual or whatever, so yes, I just
Tiffany, we got a
Listen
lot
to
of
my sound.
angles. I got some from TikTok. I got some from here, and I want to go through them. So I'll let my producer go through our YouTube and Facebook messages, and then I'll go to the TikTok ones. Okay, here's Shannon. I'm looking for
oh,
my glasses.
Shannon.
There's
Yeah,
Shannon.
that's my girl.
So I guess you know her. You can dance well too. So I guess she knows you, and she's seen you dancing. Here's Robin. It's good to see you looking so well. Your aphasia friend, Amy Hollinger. Is that it? Okay, I guess that's it. So now I'm going to TikTok land. Let's see what we have in TikTok land. Like I said, I cannot share it on the screen, but I'll read what I have from TikTok land. And we have Peter says, I know for me, I was like just never like to talk about my stroke at all. So that's what Peter was saying. And we have Heather aphasia. She was praying for you.
Oh, thank you.
And she's saying absolutely. I guess one of the things that you actually said on here, she was saying absolutely about it. Let me see if we have anything on Instagram land. 1 second. No. Oh yeah. Brain injury babe says so many people have been injured from the vaccination. So she's agreeing with you, Tiffany.
Yes, yeah, because I know like five
Go ahead. Go
people
ahead.
that had vaccination and then they had their stroke. Oh, goodness, dog is perfect. Look,
Tiffany, I want to go back to something that you so. Oh, we got your friend there. Who's that?
yes.
That's your partner in crime right there.
Yes, uh-huh. It used to
Cool.
be Carter, but he died, and now it's just
Oh,
me,
sorry to
Lee.
hear that.
Oh, thank you.
So now, Tiffany, I'm very curious about this because I want to talk about this because I don't know if people really understand it, and I want to know if this has happened to you too. Before I had my stroke, I used to pray to God, and I never heard a response. I see an action from my prayer, but I never heard a response. When I prayed when I had my stroke, I heard God speak to me. So I guess that's the same thing that
Yep.
happened to you. First time for you too?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think so, actually. Like you can hear his voice. Like
Hmm.
yes,
Like
like I
me and
can
you talking
hear it.
clear as day. That's how I heard
Yep.
God's voice.
Yeah.
And
Like even
it was. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, like even so, I was going to the gym, put my tennis shoes on and everything, and he said, "Stop! You're not going to the gym. You're going to go on the computer and look at the houses in your neighborhood." But pretty much, he said, you're going to rent. Pretty much, I was like, "Oh, okay," like because I have a townhouse and it's 50 can rent and 50 can just own and stay there or whatever. But like literally, he was like, "Stop!" I'm like, "Okay," like so. I can hear him clearly, which is great.
So yeah, it is definitely great. That's what you know, and that's what I wanted you to expound on. Is like I don't know if I'm not going to say that I'm special or we're special than other people, but when you have a near-death experience, things become more clear and more focused
Oh yeah.
than it was before. So I could see things like if I like the example you just brought about, the gym and things like that. Like I I when I want to do something and then it gets very hard for me to, it's like a lot of resistance to it. Normally it's not something I'm supposed to do. But if it's easy and I want to do something and everything just goes right in the path, I don't fight it and I just let it happen and everything works out for me. Is that the same type of thing that you have?
It just depends because sometimes God can be easy and sometimes it can be hard. He's like, oh, are you going to push? And I'm just like, oh, okay, So it just depends. He's like, yeah, it's hard, Like even my recovery or whatever, it was hard. Like even now I'm doing this cognitive stuff or whatever, so it's gonna be hard and then it's gonna be easy. But he's like, you can handle this. I know you can. And so so it's both. I would say it's both.
Okay, I'll go with that. So Tiffany, let me ask you something. When did you stop complaining, stop fighting, and just say, you know what, it's time to go and be healed and live life? What was that aha moment for you?
Hey, I still be complaining. Literally. But the aha moment, I think it was like maybe 6 year or whatever. Like I was like, okay, I'm not gonna complain. I know that I'm doing the best I can. You're helping me, God. Jesus, God, and the Holy Spirit. So I'm not gonna complain. But sometimes, like especially, it's probably like 90% healed. I'm just like, okay, God, I mean, when am I going to be healed? Completely healed or whatever. And then it's just like, okay, let me just, it's okay. I'm here. I'm doing the best I can and everything. So sometimes I do complain, but it's okay. I know God's like, I know she's complaining, but hey. And then also like I complain, but then I get up and do it again. I'm just like, okay, I'm complaining for maybe 5 minutes, but okay, I'm getting up and I gotta do the best I can.
That is very interesting concept that you have actually broke down. I don't know if you realized it or not, but before you said you just complain, but now you might complain, but you recognize that it has to be done and God
Oh
is
yeah.
having it back and you're going to move forward with it. You recognize it. That is actually growth. I don't know if you recognize that or not.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, like I'm just like, okay, like because you can complain or whatever and then sit in your complaint. Like, okay.
Mhm.
Or you can do stuff you can do, be healed, have your, and stuff like that. And so, like I said, and it's just me. So when I had my stroke, I was in the hospital for 3 weeks, and then I was at the rehabilitation institute for five weeks, and then I was at my sister's house for a month. And I asked the doctor, I was like, be can I be by myself, in my house or whatever, even though my right side was paralyzed. I could only walk slow and everything. And he was, and we'll, I don't know if we're going to get into it, but he said, just don't do this because he knows that I did stuff that probably any other patient wouldn't do. um, and so what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. Ah, but I was gonna say, so like you can complain and just deal with it, or you can complain maybe 5 minutes and be like, okay, I'm complaining, but it's just me and my dog or whatever. I'm going to get up and do it again or whatever, and so it's just like, yeah, you complain and stuff like that, but what's that gonna do to do to you? Nothing. You have to get up and do it again, And
I get that. I
sometimes,
get that.
and sometimes, like even like today or whatever, it was a good day or whatever, but maybe tomorrow it's not, especially with my aphasia. It is what it is. But hey, God has me, so I'm good. So I was gonna say, so I've been living at my house for it was 3 months when I was in the uh, hospital, the Kurt Kinney rehabilitation, in my sister's house, and I've been living here for, what was it? Three, well, almost 4. Oh no, yeah, 4 years. Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. Before we go any further, we had a comment come up. I believe it was your niece, Nevaeh. She said, "I'm so proud of you, Auntie Tiffany. You come a long way."
Yes.
So I guess
Yes.
that's
Oh,
definitely your
yes.
niece.
So I don't know if I can tell you guys this story.
If you want
Um,
to.
yeah. So my niece Nevaeh, she was at my house. I was actually not staying. I was not staying there or whatever. I was just um, I think it was like a week where my sister was out of town. So my niece Nevaeh, we were at my house just a week or whatever, and I remember I was just complaining about my hand and everything like that because it work or whatever, just my pinky and and everything. And she said, "It's okay, you're still here." And I was like, and she wasn't even like 18. I think she was like 16 or whatever. She was like, "Everything's gonna work it out, just have faith." I was like, "You're right," but like I was just like, just still complaining. I'm just like, but my hand's not working or whatever. But she helped me to not complain and just, yeah. And so I thank her. I
Out of
really
mouth of
do.
babes. Out of mouth of babes. Oh, pretty cool. Um, so Tiffany, it seemed like you have a very strong faith in God, and you also have very great family members. You
Yeah.
know, can you talk about how it is, to actually have faith in your God, have the support from your family, and that helps you out with your recovery? And if you didn't have that, how far you think you would be without that in your
With,
recovery stage?
without God.
Without God, without your support, without that positive
Oof.
energy within your background,
Yeah,
if you didn't
man.
have that, how would that actually affected your recovery?
Yeah, yeah. No, without God, I don't think I would be here. Like, like I'd probably be in the wheelchair, literally. My hand wouldn't work. But with God, man, it's challenged me to do it, to walk, to run, to, my hand move and stuff like that. So I just thank God because it has challenged me to, and it's grown, it has grown in my faith too. Like now, like I said, we like here. And then just my mom, my sisters, my niece or whatever, they encourage me to, like, no, you're doing good. My even like my sisters, or I mean not my sister, but my teacher, my therapist and everything like that, they're just like, no, like you've come a long way and your recovery is actually faster than like anybody that I've seen or whatever. I was like, oh, thank you. But and then just just praying for me, even my sisters and mom and niece were just praying for me or whatever, especially when I'm going through it or whatever. I'm just like, no, like what is going on. They just pray for me even today. My sister, she prayed for me today or whatever, like just take it one time, like um I know you're speaking fluent or whatever, but just slow and everything like that. So I thank her. I thank my mom and my sisters and niece and everything. So, and God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, I dig it. I dig it, and I think what's very interesting to what you said. Besides your family and God, someone, I believe you said your therapist is telling you that you're moving quickly, you're recovering quickly.
Yeah.
I think you don't understand how your mental state, your well,
Listen to my sound.
let's bring the comment up. Let me put my glasses on to make sure I can read this. I can't even read it with my glasses. I
Oh,
already
this
got.
is my niece,
Oh,
Nevaeh.
this is your other niece.
We are
Okay, we
so
got
proud of
nieces
you
all over the
and
place, huh?
thankful.
We are so proud of you and thankful that you get to share your story with us, including your relationship with God. Ari and Kenya.
Oh, thank you guys.
So, but yeah, but I could tell that your family is very involved in into God and also being connected with you, and I really appreciate that they have that for you and you have that type of support. But I want to emphasize what your therapist said, and I think this is what a lot of stroke survivors miss is that a lot of this stuff happens in your head. If you think that you cannot get better, you will not get
Yeah,
better.
no. Oh, no. Yeah. Hmm.
So once you learn that, was your recovery better? Was it getting faster for you, or was it just already there once you asked God, everything was just happening? Can you explain that mindset,
Yeah,
believing?
so,
Because it says in the Bible, it says faith without works is dead. So obviously, if
right.
you ask for it, you got to really believe it. So can you talk
Yeah.
about that for me?
Yeah, so I want to say it was like maybe 2 weeks or whatever. I prayed and he said he would help me or whatever, and I was determined. So you have to be determined to do the recovery or whatever. So I was determined. So even if like my therapist or whatever, so I had speech, occupational, and physical or whatever. It was like three. Hours or whatever for in the morning and in the afternoon. But what else do? You just be in your room or whatever. But I was determined, so I was just like, okay, let me walk or whatever. Like I remember my mom. She came to my room or whatever, and I was walking. She opened the door. She was like, "You're walking." I was like, I didn't know she was gonna come in there. I'm walking. She was like, "What? Not the nurse helping you?" I was like, "No, because I needed to walk, and even if I would stumble or trip or anything like that, it's okay. Even just I don't know. It was just God in me. Like okay, you can do it, and yeah, and so I just thank Him.
Oh, that's a beautiful story, and I don't think and it's exactly how a mother would react. Like, why are you doing this all by yourself? But
Yeah,
the thing is that a lot of people, and I'm glad that you did bring this up. Us as stroke survivors, TBI survivors, people that had brain injuries, we know how far we can go. We know if we're gonna fall and hurt ourselves. We don't push ourselves that far. We know like, okay, if I need to take one step, I'm gonna take that one step. And you might be scared for us, but you have to let us be. And if we like you said, if we fall, you fall. But this is the process of actually learning how to walk all over again. So I'm very proud that you actually did that, and actually proud that you actually brought up that story. I really thank you for that.
thank you.
So Tiffany, we are talking about a lot of good stuff and a lot of things that happen for us. But there is people out there that say, what about this? I didn't, I wasn't able to do this. I wasn't able to do that. So I do want to talk about those particular times, but
Listen
right
to the
after this comment that come in.
sound.
Let's bring in a comment. We have Donna Dunkley here. She said, to God be the glory, great things he has done. Continue to give him thanks.
Amen.
All right.
See, this I'm just saying, like this is not
Go
my
ahead.
story, my my story, my testimony. It's God's story. So you have
Mm,
to think about it too, or whatever. Like now that I am living, or whatever, it's God's plan. It's not my plan. So when I did not have my stroke, it was my plan. But after I had my stroke, I'm just like, what is your plan? Like even now, I used to live in Minnesota. Now I'm in Texas. That wasn't my plan. That was his plan. So it's just like, what is your plan? And so you just have to if it's God's plan, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna do good things.
okay. I'm with you on that. I'm completely with you on that. Um, and I'm gonna go back to this thought, and I'm gonna come back to this in a second. But let's talk about the things that other people really don't understand. What happens to you as a stroke survivor, and what you have to, overcome. And I didn't have it as bad as you being completely paralyzed on one side, but there was a moment that I couldn't do anything for myself. I couldn't bathe myself. I couldn't shave. I couldn't clean myself and things like that. And I felt less of a man. You know, did you have that type of experience? Like, "Oh, I feel less than a person because I can't do these things on my own." And how did you overcome that? Because I wanted you to talk to these type of people that's going through that now and thinking that their life is completely over. You know, how did you get over that hump?
Yeah, like I couldn't bathe myself or whatever. I was in a wheelchair. My hand wasn't working and everything, and so and I don't know if that happens to you, but it's every other day you have a shower, which I was just like not every day, but okay, but it's just like it's okay. They're helping you, so it's gonna be okay. If you can't bathe yourself or whatever, it's gonna be okay. They're helping you. And as far as your healing or whatever, hopefully it's gonna be okay, and you can bathe. It's yourself in the future, because so when I was at the rehabilitation institute, everybody was in a wheelchair. Like I was staying there. Oh, and I was just like, I am not going to be in this wheelchair. I am going to walk. And I walked. And so when the nurse would be like, "Oh, you want, when do you want me to bathe, yourself or yourself or whatever?" I was like, you know what? I'm going to bathe myself, and with one hand, and I don't know. Like I said, it was just like, okay, yeah, it's a miracle that God has helped me. I would say that.
Well, you was fortunate. You got bathed every other day. I didn't take my first shower until like 6 weeks later. They used to just bathe
Are you
me in the
serious?
bed. Yeah, they just rubbed me down. I couldn't move up. Matter of fact, I was handcuffed to the bed because I kept on pulling up my feet into. It was
Oh,
bad. I couldn't move. It was
yeah,
bad.
no, I couldn't move, so I would be on one side because I couldn't move to the other side and everything. But yeah, no, it's like it was every other day or
Nah,
whatever. But I think
I got a rag and a bucket, and they bathed me from there, from my bed.
I
I didn't
think
get out of
in
bed.
probably like 1 week they did. Yep, it was like 1 or 2 weeks, and then they showered me.
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
I didn't get that. I didn't get that till about 5 weeks later. But
Oh wow!
yeah, it was rough. It was rough.
And
But
then like also like because I can bathe myself only with one hand or whatever, I was showering every day. I was like, Oh, like and even like doing the laundry because they would do the laundry or whatever. I was like, can I do the laundry or whatever? And they show
really,
me with one hand, literally kicking the what's the name? Well, I tell you, um, I know what's her name? Dang, she was my therapist or whatever. She would tell you, like I was just like, no, I don't want you to do this. I can do okay, like my laundry. Where's it at? Like I was determined.
and I think that's what people don't understand. And I'm glad you bringing this up. Um, yes, we are stroke survivors. Yes, today we might be able to do things, and tomorrow we might not be able to do it. But just because we had a stroke doesn't mean that we're completely helpless. We want to help ourselves. We want to do things on our own, but sometimes we do need help. So don't look at us as, I don't want to say normal, but I don't look, because I can't find another word. I'm going to say normal. Don't look at us as what normal people will actually do. There's times that we
Listen to my sound.
us and listen to us and don't take us for granted. We got another comment on here, so I'm gonna stop talking and let the comment come in. I believe this is Quisha. Am I right, Quisha Stewart? If I say your name wrong, I'm apologizing. Right, I would be given a bath every other day. So
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah, I
know.
think I wonder if she was at the hospital Northmore Memorial. It was every other day. Yeah.
Jeez, you guys are blessed. I didn't get that. I didn't get that type of. It was well. You got to remember, I'm 6'3". I was 260 pounds, so not a lot of people could pick me up to actually go to the shower or things like that. So they had to do me in the bed, and I was so big. If my grandmother was still alive, she told me longa laga. That's a Jamaican thing. Say I'm longer than the bed. So I was actually, my feet was dangling off the bed because I was so
Oh,
tall. But I guess I get that. I understand that. All right. Let's shift gears a little bit because we're getting towards the end of our show. And at this particular time, we do what's called a hot seat questions. Is where I ask you a few questions and I want to get some sound bites from you. So when you're done with the question, say AVM superhero, I'm ready for my next question. I'll give you the next one. And then after we do the hot seat questions, I'm gonna come completely off the screen and I'm gonna let you close out the show. So anything that you want to tell anybody about how they can find you, any inspirational quotes that you have, it'll be your time to do that. So my sister, are you ready for your hot seat questions?
yes. And you said, so I just say, I'm ready for another one, right?
There you
Sorry,
go.
because well, Carly was eating her stuff. Sorry.
And my producers, whenever when you put your dog on the screen, she went crazy because she loves little doggies.
Oh,
All
I
right.
can never.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. Whatever. If she's anywhere close to you, she'll take your dog, and you probably will never see it again. My daughter is off the chain when it comes to dogs. All right, hot seat question. Question number one. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Question number one. Here we go. Um, when you had your stroke, did you think your life was over?
Yeah, like in the beginning, like the first day, and probably like maybe 6 months, I was thinking my life was over, even though I prayed and God told me He was going to help me, but still, just my recovery or whatever, I felt it was, going to take, many years. And so, yeah, I was just like, okay, like, just not my life or whatever, not working at the job, not, just not volunteering and everything like that, and just doing my own things. And then you're like, okay, like now my life is just over. So yes. Next question. Sorry.
Nah, you cool. You cool. Next question. Question number two is as follows. When did you stop complaining and start living?
Uh, I would say, you know what? I still be complaining. Um, but I would say probably like a year after, and just, like, cause I went, I had this, was it it was a phagia network, thing that I did or whatever. And uh, I, and then like exercise and everything like that. I was just like, it's okay, and then just, I'm driving. So I was just like, it's gonna be okay. It is what it is. At least I'm here. And so, yeah, so I think it was like probably a year. Next question.
Question number three. Here we go. Question number three states, if you had died, I'm looking for just one person now. Don't give me 4 or 5 people. Give me one person. If you had died, who would have been, who would have missed you the most? And how is your relationship with that person now?
If I would have died, who would miss me the most would be my mom. Because I am her baby. We go to vacations, we go to sporting events, and even now, whatever, I'm in Texas, she's in Minnesota, but we still went to on vacation and everything. So it would have been bad for her to, because I know she's told me so many times that she would have had my stroke if she could have. Sorry. So yeah, she told me so many times. But next question, sorry.
No, you cool. You cool. Fourth question and the final question. And after this question, you'll be able to close out the show. So just run right into it after you finish your question. And the question is, what did the threat of death teach you?
What did the death of threat teach me? It taught me how to live, like literally live. I think when I did not have my stroke, I was living, but like, I was saving, and I still save, but like just saving and just some things I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that or whatever. But now I'm just like living my best life, I would say. Um, you know, and it just, I think when you had a stroke or any other brain injury or just any other thing that it's, it teaches you how to live. I well, at least it did to me. But yeah. And so what I would say, far as my clothing was, I would say, if you had a stroke or any other brain injury or any other sickness and everything like that, I would say for me, God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit has helped me. And so I would say if you pray to them, they're going to help you. It's going to change you, but in a a look at it's going to change you, but in a good way. Um, and so, thank you all for just doing this, or well, for me doing this. But thank you all for your kindness, and thank you. And Greg, thank you for hold on. See, this is, I have to calm down. Thank you, Grade, for inviting me on this show, because it's been like 2 years since I've told my story on this platform. And so I thank you, Greg, and I thank you all for being here to witness my story. Um, my social media, my TikTok is Tiffany Stroke Survivor. My Instagram is Tiffany Stroke Survivor. And then my Facebook is Tiffany, and there's R, and then Alston, Alston. And so, yeah, thank you all for listening to my story. Hopefully look at, see, hopefully it expired. See, I can't say that word. Expired. You know what I'm going to say. You guys, for even if you had a stroke or have any illnesses, or you're just wondering, my story hopefully inspired you.